Hey, I wanted to jump on real quick, talk about Sports Illustrated. There's a lot of rumors. I don't know if it's 100% sure, but everybody's saying it's dead. It's been on ABC, NBC, lots of stuff on YouTube about it. I wanted to jump on, say my part. I've got a lot of friends who worked at Sports Illustrated. A bunch of people right now are on Instagram doing their rest in peace Sports Illustrated crap. I don't think that's a big deal. You can do whatever you want, but the problem was or is with Sports Illustrated, they never knew how to handle the future. This was coming 25, 30 years ago. I've been working for Sports Illustrated since the early 90s. I assisted with John McDonough, Peter, a lot of guys that worked at Sports Illustrated, Heinz Klutenheimer, who's one of the great photographers. I shot at Sports Illustrated. I have over a dozen covers. I can't tell you how many leading offs. I've done everything on Sports Illustrated. The number one thing everybody always asks you, though, did you shoot a swimsuit suit? The number one thing everybody always asks you if you shot the swimsuit edition. I did not. Didn't really care for it. Wasn't my thing. I didn't want to spend 4 months jaunting around the Arctic shooting people and people will ask you, did you shoot the swimsuit edition? I did not. Never did. The problem with Sports Illustrated, the future. They never saw it coming. They didn't know how to handle it. They didn't know how to handle the internet. They didn't know how to handle the subscription or put it out for free. Once it got bought and Time had it, the photographers didn't even have their images on SI.com. They were piecing it out to what AP put up or what Getty or all the other little agencies at that time in the late 90s. That's a problem. If you're not getting your staff on there, that becomes an issue. In 2010, they tried to put out Sports Illustrated on the Apple tablet. There was a big thing. Oh, they were so very excited. They ran these little commercials and everything. It had bugs. It never worked. And once again, there was no exclusivity. Yeah, they had some of the guys' stuff on there, but it should have been literally the magazine digitally changing all the time. They should have had, and I remember talking to Terry about this, they should have had it where I can follow my favorite writer, whether it was Frank DeFord, Peter King, my favorite photographer, Peter Reed Miller, or John McDonough, and say, I want to know, where's Peter at? Is he at a Colorado game on a Thursday night? Then in Saturday, he's doing a BYU game, and then he goes up to Seattle. Then he comes back and does a 49er game on Monday, and I want to see little snippets and little behind the scenes with him. Give me something exclusive. Vanity Fair will do that with Leibowitz when she shoots. When Andy shoots, they'll do a little behind the scenes. You have to give something special when SI's at that level. No thought when that was put out. They were not going to do anything like that. Huge failure. Having the website run out of Atlanta, because that's where Ted Turner and Time Warner was all being run out of, and you didn't have the SI guys' exclusive content on there, why the hell would I look at SI.com? I don't want to look at AP or Getty stuff or Reuters. I don't want to see that. I would be working with McDonough at a Laker game in 2010, 2011, 2012. His images wouldn't get put on to the website. It would go straight to the magazine, and sometimes you would get one or two photos on, but you had the website, you could have put 40. I mean, you're all talking about looking for clicks, putting up Beavers, Peters, Johnny's, Al's, any of those guys' stuff. Who wouldn't want to look at that stuff? Wasn't done. They handled it so poorly. Then it gets worse. You cut the staff in 2015. You say it's because of economic issues. Once you cut the staff, at that moment, they should have just completely shut down the whole goddamn magazine. How can you be illustrated if you don't have photographers? How can you be exclusive if you don't have the world's best photographers? Absolutely. Simon Brudi has years of great shooting still left in him, and he was gone in 2015 from the magazine. Absolutely foolish. Horrible decision. They should have blown that thing up. Going to the Time Warner building when they were at SI, it was magical. Once they started scaling back and nobody was there, massive problem. And it only got worse a year later. In 2016, grasping at straws, They put a plus size model on there. Her name was Ashley Graham, I believe. What? I could just remember looking at all those early photos when the magazine came out with Swimsuit in February. They were beautiful photos of beautiful women. And I'm sure Ashley is a wonderful person. But that's not what 99% of the world wants to look at. And you need to hit a massive target audience. And as it was getting smaller, you're trying to reach for a headline for a plus size model. What the hell? You're just putting a death nail in your coffin. You're throwing up your hands looking for anything. And it only gets worse 4 years later in 2020 when they put on a transgender. You're looking for a 1%, 1.5%, 2% of the population of the world to try to save you. That's a gross headline trying to get. That's not what, again, 99% of what men are looking for when they get the swimsuit edition at the airport when they're walking through. To do that was grasping at straws. Just horrible, embarrassing, sad. It was a great magazine, but Sports Illustrated killed itself. It went woke. It cut the staff that was the greatest. It did everything it possibly could to kill itself. And I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad at all. I'm glad it's dead. I'm glad it's buried. I don't like to see that it was a shell. It was once a month. I never even saw it. I killed it. All these people that are going on Instagram and bitching and complaining about it, oh, the good times, this and that, they're a part of the problem. When the staff was cut in 2015 and these contracts came up and they're only going to pay $650 and you got everything you had to turn over to them and they were happy with it and they're saying, oh, look, I jaunted off and I did this and I jaunted off and I did that. You did it and you backstabbed people. It was a bad contract, but you wanted to say you shot for Sports Illustrated. That was a bullshit deal, but you accepted it. You were part of the problem. You slowly took paper cuts and killed it. I don't feel bad that it's gone. I'm glad that it's gone because the almighty of what it was, that's what I want to think of. I've had Peter Reed Miller on my podcast. I've had John Beaver. I just had Lynn Johnson. They all talked about the great times of Sports Illustrated. But those talks were about long ago. Nobody said the last 5 years, the last 10 years. It was trash. It was absolute trash. I can remember sitting in a photo well with the late, great VJ Lavero. And he was talking about how exciting it was when he started shooting at Sports Illustrated. And then when he became staff with Robert Beck and what that was like. That was a long time ago. And the magazine now is gone. And it was coming. Bye-bye, SI.